What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I feel like this mic's a little too far away from my face, or maybe I'm just not centered. Yep, I'm just not centered. Now the mic is way too close to my face, so let's pull that back, put that there. I should have probably done this check earlier. How's everyone doing? It's a beautiful Thursday, amazing weather down here in Toronto, in Canada. It's about like 30-ish degrees, to be honest. Well, it was, but I've spent most of my day indoors. So didn't really feel too much of the heat. Got to walk my dog in a little bit of cooler weather after getting home, so that was good. Hopefully you guys had a beautiful day out there. Maybe you went for a walk, maybe you went for a run, maybe you went for a swim. Whatever it was, hopefully you got to enjoy the beautiful weather in your hometown, in your country. And if it was not a beautiful weather, maybe tomorrow will be one. I'm obviously your boy Trader Prad, Praddy Daddy, Pradstradamus, Trader Prad, Master of the Bears, Father of the Bears, King of the Bears, you know what it is. We're going to be talking about the market as we always do, prep for everything that might happen tomorrow, talk about everything that moved today, and at the same time, there's a game going on. There's a Miami Heat and Denver Nuggets game going on. It's right here to my left screen, right beside the chat actually. So if you see me looking at the chat, I'm most likely looking at the game over here because I got money on it. But no, I'm also looking at the chat over here. I see London Kurdi coming saying, "Good evening all. What's up, Kurdi? Hopefully you're having a beautiful day." I see Dider on the YouTube chat saying, "What's up?" Yo, too warm. I feel you, man. Montreal must have been hot, but hey, at least hopefully you got to smash some beers out on some patio. Tomorrow's Friday. Hopefully the weather continues to stay that way so I could go smash some beers on a patio, right? But yeah, let's dive in for all the fun and all the crazy market talk we're gonna have. I have a ton of stocks to talk about today, so why don't we start? Why don't we dive in? I know you've been waiting for a long time. Let's go. Oh, that would have been scary. That would have been scary. I almost showed you guys a website that I should not have up there. It wasn't like a bad website, but it's a website like I should not have had up there. So thankfully I caught it on time. All right. We are now going to start looking at, to start off the day with, the stocks that moved in according to the CNBC watch list. So the pre-market watch list, the midday watch list, and the after hours watch list. They send out 3 throughout the day. I scoured through the watch lists and I found some stocks that moved around. Some of them might be upgrades, downgrades. Some of them might be earnings plays, and some of them could be news-based catalysts. A news that probably happened 2-3 days ago, news that's probably happening right now. So we're gonna look at a bunch of those stocks. Then we have earnings stocks to also take a look at. Some other stocks that might have moved around in the after hours that I found a little bit interesting to maybe talk about. Obviously the active movers, which are your for the most part right now, are the big tech stocks. I don't know what's going on, but Palantir, SoFi making the list over there, so we like that. Carvana, OKTA, crypto, and to wrap it up, we're gonna look at the big tech. So to start off with, it's gonna be JWN obviously announcing their earnings. I wanted to really see how JWN would come out with their earnings report, especially after closing down in Canada. Would it be a bad number? But I did say to you guys, I'm expecting them to do good because the sales percentage cuts on JWN or Nordstrom, the sales percentage cuts on products at their stores wasn't that steep of a cut. It was actually, the good products were only a little bit of a discount, and most of the products were gone on day 1 and day 2. It was the old inventory and the sizes that really nobody wants that were on 40%, 60% sale. So what that tells me is they made a pretty good clearance sale, and we're able to close down stores in Canada pretty well. I think they're still in the process of closing them down. They're still not 100% closed down. So we're seeing over here that their earnings did beat overall. They went up by 4.7% in pre-market itself, and they moved around quite a bit. Now let's go see how that move actually played out throughout the day, because obviously the market did pull down, I believe, to start the day, right? So let's go to the 5-minute chart for QQQ. The market, no, it just kept ripping up. How did the SPY move today? Let's see. Ooh, yeah, its market did go down a little bit off pre-market for the SPY, but then we just started taking off later on like it did not matter at all. So Positive day on both sides, Nasdaq and SPY, and JWN leached off of that move over here, bringing in a nice 4.7 move. But ooh, look at that pump off the open and then just sell off, and then later on it kind of catches a bid around this $15 area for JWN. So $15 looks like it's a solid level at this point. We've tested this 15, 20s, $15 area multiple times yesterday and today basically. Let's go look at it on a higher time frame here, how more significant 15 is. So yeah, you see how significant 15 is over here. We pulled down from the highs of 27 all the way to 15. We bounce off of that. We do manage to get under 15 for like a couple weeks over here, but then right back above 15. And today, even with positive earnings report, they look like they wanted to really push to the downside, but 15 held and allowed the stock to end positive, still up 4.7%. They actually went a little bit lower than yesterday's low off the earnings move. So that was insane. They were negative at one point, but ended up positive overall. I'm thinking, you know, this move to the negative side might have been orchestrated from the overall retail scare that's going on in the market. You know, retail stocks have been getting hit. Target, Walmart, Home Depot, Foot Locker. I don't know if you would say Foot Locker is retail, but it's basically you know, apparel, like athlete apparel. But I think, is Foot Locker considered as retail? Yeah, it is considered retail trade, right? So Foot Locker has been getting beat, and I told you, watch for Foot Locker to push to that 24 area, and we're still trickling down there. We're still trickling down to 24. We did get a little bit of a pop over here on the 26th of May, but ever since then, again, we're going right back down. So the Pratty Daddy Prostradamus lines coming true one more time for us. So let's go, baby. Foot Locker getting hurt, and this whole retail scare putting in some damage off the open for JWN, but they're able to save themselves by actually closing higher than yesterday's high. Congratulations to them. Now we can maybe expect the $16 areas to actually show some support, but clearly if the stock goes anywhere near 15, those are easy longs over there. So JWN 15 looks like amazing long opportunities, especially if tomorrow ends up being a free fall Friday. Right? If tomorrow ends up being a free fall Friday and JWN pushes back down, I think that $15 holds. Okay. Now the hottest stock, hottest sector in the market right now for the past few days, obviously AI. Allen Iverson, no, I'm joking. AI, C3 AI, artificial intelligence. Let me pull the Brendan trick here, which is clearing your throat. And also, let me just do this real quick. We can hide the total sub count because, you know, let's do that. All right. So Brendan trick, C3 AI has been popping off recently. You know, they had their earnings report in March, and that one helped them a little bit, but then they started pulling back down, and then Nvidia comes in and starts pumping up the whole sector to the north side, and then Nvidia earnings come out and pump the sector a little bit more to the north side. And here comes AI with the earnings report today after hours, I believe was a report. Let's go quickly check over here. Yeah, so yesterday after hours, sorry, and they did pull down off that report overall. It looks like it was a positive report. They did beat on their numbers. Not sure what happened, but they sold off in the after hours off that report. We are finding a little bit of a support area coming in around this $30.50, but I think that's just because, you know, overall Nvidia and the AI sector has been so hot that it's actually holding off these stocks to go from too far to the downside. I'd be looking for shorts off the 40. I'm burping. I'd be looking for the shorts off the 40. I think anywhere from the 40, 44, or even 47 areas. These three areas would be very interesting for me to try for shorts, especially if investors are not happy with the earnings report. You know, pre-market we saw selling coming in. That could be profit taking on not coming out with the gang bust report. Maybe they were expecting an Nvidia type report, a ton of new customers, a ton of new acquisitions, and so on, but maybe that's not what happened, and investors didn't like it. You saw a lot of profit taking coming into place, and it sold off. thankfully the stock does have a pretty high short float. Well, we need to see when the short float actually updates. So let's go here, see if we can find the calendar. When is the next short float numbers reported? So short interest release date is going to be on the 9th of June. So the last report was on the 24th of May, and according to that, nope, wrong website. According to from the last report, which was on the 20, what did I say? 20, what was it? 24th of May, AI is about 27 to 28% short. And the next report will be on the 9th of June. We will find out how that report changes. Is there an increase in short flow for AI or a decrease in short flow for AI? And then we can gauge about that statement. But I'm not expecting a big drop in that number. If anything, I'm expecting an increase in that number. More bears stepping into this trade now that it's popping back up to these crazy ranges of $45 and so on. Probably more selling did come into this place over here. Or short selling, that is what I'm trying to say. AI though, still showing you support around these 30 areas. You know, that hold of 30.50 right now, which was a previous high. I'm not sure where this line actually comes from. Comes from here, from Wednesday 15th of December 2021. We're currently holding that area right now. Acted as the top previously and acted as the top previously again. The breakout of that level gave you a nice push up to 34.50 on that day, right? So that level came into play on this day over here too, recently on the 25th of May. So pretty important, and came into play today. So pretty important level from $30 to 30.50. If you do get under $30 on AI, I think we have a move down to 27, 27.50, $25 to the downside. If we do hold 30 and 30.50 areas, I think AI is clearly making that run back up to the north side. So if 30 to 30.50 area holds, you can build longs, but look for shorts under that. Okay, good. CRM is next on board. This one I believe had earnings after hours yesterday. Moved a bit yesterday too before the announcement of the earnings report. So over here had a nice little update on itself before the earnings report. The earnings report comes out though, and gets a push first, but then later on sells off. Ooh, look at that bottom that we nailed in the after hours. Perfect catch of the bottom of the after hours over there. Happened to be at 207.51, 207.50, let's say. Today though, that area kind of coming back into play off the open, kind of around where we opened. We did push a little bit lower than that. Is there a today 1 day candle? Can we go to the 1 day candle? Where do we open at? We opened at 208.22. So we opened at 208.22. We pushed all the way to the downside of 206.09. We get back above that line and the opening range 5-minute high, allowing you to build into a long on this position. I think CRM was actually, where did you close? You closed there. And you are down here. No, you were only down 6-ish%. You were not really SSR at any point, but you almost got there, right? You were down 7% at one point compared to yesterday's close, and going down 10% would have triggered the SSR mechanic, which is basically you can't short the stock by taking out the liquidity on the bids. You have to wait on the ask for the stock to take higher for you to get short. CRM almost got to that point, didn't really get to that point though overall, and started pushing back up. We'll have to see tomorrow how this one moves. I think we are going to see another bearish move to the downside tomorrow on CRM. Just the fact that the market kept pumping up might have been the reason that CRM saved itself. But the earnings report, even though it was a beat, something in that report or the guidance could have been the result for CRM to push back down. Maybe we can find out over here. Software engineer fell 6%, reported higher than expected capital costs and lower demand for consulting deals. Not what you want to see. Not what you want to see and not what you want to hear, obviously, as an investor. So announcing bad things for their future, forecasting negative news, and looks like this 215 area is going to act as a monster barrier for the stock. If we are anywhere near 215, shorts near 215 if available. But the short of, 206, 205 break is also something that I'm looking at, or even 210. Okay. Now, the next stock, another retail stock coming into play. Stop bumping into your mic, Pratty Daddy. Maybe put the mic up a little bit, my friend. Let's do that. Okay, there we go. I like to talk to myself, if you can tell. Obviously, I want to stream in a room by myself, talking to myself. There's nobody typing in chat. Okay, I'll take that back. Bears versus Bulls here. Y2G. What is YTG? Is that a stock name? Listening but can't type on the small keyboard. Ah, I'm guessing you're on your phone. How do you do all day? How do you do all day? Oh, that's right, because he is typing all day on the other stream. That's because I'm not important for Bears versus Bull Dieter. Bears versus Bull doesn't give two shits about me. I'm like a nobody to him, right? So if it's my stream, he just uses his phone. But if it's Trader TV Live, the big guys, you know, then I'll go all the way in for these guys. I'm joking. Bears versus Bull, Ron. I'm just messing with you. Don't take what I'm saying serious. I know you love me, and you know I love you. Right? You know I love you. All right, let's go to another retail stock over here, which actually sold off hard in pre-market itself. Big drop in pre-market. They announced earnings in pre-market. They had a little bit of a miss on the revenue side, but they didn't beat on earnings per share. Let's quickly go see if we can find Macy's, what actually happened. 7% in pre-market after the company missed revenue, slashed its full year earnings and sales guidance after demand trends weakened. So another retail stock coming in with negative news over here. Yeah, they ended up 1.18% positive on the day, even with negative catalysts. But I think this is where you're looking for shorts. These $14 areas and $15 areas on Macy's is where you're looking for shorts now for a possible move right back to the downside. I mean, the stock was a 52-week low. We broke the 52-week low and we got back higher again. But this 14 and 15 area looks like clear shorts to me. So if we do pop back up there, I'm looking for shorts. Okay, there we go. Not all-time low. What am I saying? 52-week low. Okay. Lucid is next on board over here. LCID moved around a bit, but I don't think they had earnings, did they? Let's go check again. LCID. What did you do today? I think it was in the midday report. Yeah, okay. $14 Wednesday after. Oh yeah, that's right. $3 billion new stock offering that the Saudi if anyone took offense to that, I'm not being racist. That's exactly how it's said, okay? The Saudis coming in over here with the Lucid purchase program, turning on the buy program. Well, they gave more off. They offered more, so they said, yeah, why not? We'll buy more. We'll dilute ourselves, baby. Let's go. So that news coming in, dilution news. So obviously people don't like that. Investors don't like dilution, and that brings it to the downside for the stock. Brendan or Brankles, as you guys know from Trader TV Live in the background, while Day Trade the World, actually got a nice trade off of the 622 areas while he was trying all day 650 longs. He later on caught this beautiful move to the north side. The SSR balance of stock might have been a little hard to catch that, but yeah, it was possible to catch the SSR balance. It did end sadly 16% to the downside. It almost got all the way down to the 52-week low. As you see, I've already marked it. That could also be the all-time low. It is the all-time low. So almost got down there to the all-time low. Let's just put that there, all-time low, but bounce off a little bit before that. I think tomorrow, you know, the stock probably holds the $6 area. I don't see it going below it. It already made its move for the downside overall, in my opinion. I don't see it making a new 52-week low, but at the same time, I do gotta remember that this company absolutely blows in making cars. They fail at making cars. They make no cars or can't keep up with deliveries, and Yeah, I got stories on stories about Lucid that I can rant about, so I'll just shut up. But I do think overall, even with all my bearish and negative sentiment, I think the $6 area holds. So if we do push down to 6, looking for 6. If we do push down to 6, I'm going to look for those longs around $6 area. Next stock on board, Chewy. Chewy did announce a good report, but there's something that was very funny that was said by Brendan today on the YouTube show, which was Chewy, Amazon could easily wipe them out of the business. Easily. And he's not wrong. And anyone could wipe them out of business. The barrier to entry in this business is nothing. You could start a new company exactly like Chewy and just do exactly what they're doing. Offer maybe a little bit less prices, pay a lot on marketing, get Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer. Is that what his name is? Yeah, get Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer, as your ambassador for your product. Do some real good smart marketing. I think you could easily wipe Chewy off the existence of the earth. So I don't know, man. I've never been bullish about this company. It's really hard for me to be bullish. It's crazy that the stock was at one point $120, but you can say that about a lot of stocks out there in the world, and it's still holding its IPO price. Like, are you freaking kidding me? What is going on here? And right now we're exactly at the day that it closed on the IPO day, or the IPO high looks like. So let's just put those lines. You know how I like to look at my IPO areas. So the stock now pulling back into this range and trying to break out of the couple levels that we have mapped out. I think some of these levels are irrelevant, honestly. I'm gonna quickly wipe out these levels over on the monthly scale. That makes more sense. Okay, but still, a lot of these lines are irrelevant. I think this was from a certain day. Yeah, that was from this earnings day. So I mapped those levels out based on whatever the stock did on that day from the earnings for the move, so I can kind of keep track of it. So these are the 4 levels that I want at the moment: 1, 2, 3, 4. The IPO high, IPO low, IPO open, and IPO close levels are the 4 levels that I want, and we're kind of playing around those areas right now. One of that level being $36 flat on Chewy. No trade for me on this one. It's hard for me to be bullish about the stock. But that's the direction it wants to go. It's up 21%. Keep in mind, it's got a pretty high short float also at the same time. CHWY, I think, is like a 30% short float. There you go. Anywhere from 18 to 33.05% short float is the guesstimation for Chewy. That's probably part of the reason why the stock got absolutely squoze to the north side. You saw a lot of shorts close their positions, and a lot of day traders jumping in on the hopes that the shorts would get squoze and the stock would just absolutely push to the north side. And that is exactly what you're That's exactly what you're seeing. But later on, it did pull back down, and that 36 area is acting as a barrier. If you are feeling bullish about the stock, if we are above 36 tomorrow and we open above 36, we're holding 36 off the open, that might be a good area to look for a long. Just because I see this high right here, and I see a couple levels around here that look very important to me. So 36 area, if stock can get above 36 and stay, can look for longs here. Okay, Dollar General, DG, another stock that got absolutely slapped to the downside. That's a new 52-week low, right? That's a brand spanking new 52-week low. The old one was that was the old 52-week low, 185. We're now at 159s. Okay, so clearly dropping like it's hot over here on Dollar General. Even their stock price is on sale like their products, but that's actually a joke because their products are not on sale and they're all expensive as hell. Let's be real. Okay, so I have these levels mapped out right now. We're kind of playing around in these areas. We did bounce close enough to that line over there. I think the stock has a little bit more to the downside. Obviously, we are down 19% today, but I do think the stock could go a little bit more to the downside, somewhere near $150, especially because that was the previous gap up. Yeah, we closed the gap, but I want to see if there are buyers here. Are there any buyers at 150? If they are, then I might be interested in investing them in the long term. Not that I am. I'm not saying that I am interested in buying Dollar General for the long term. Let's go look at their dividend real quick. 59 cents per share. I'm not saying that I'm interested in Dollar General for the long term, but I'm trying to put myself in that seat. What happened? Gordon with the Euro step? Holy smokes. Okay. I'm trying to see if buyers do step up at 150 and not let the stock go back too much to the downside, especially below the September 2020 or September 2019 earnings levels. These are March 2020 lows, which is COVID lows. And we took off after that. So if I want to see buyers come in, it's got to be before that 130. And a good level before 130 for me sounds like 150. So I do think we do see the market taking the stock to 150. Market meaning market makers, the selling pressures, and the chase for liquidity, the hunt for liquidity in the market. We'll take the stock down to 150, but I do think we do see support coming in at 150 on DG. This could be somewhat of a swing trade, right? This could be somewhat of a swing trade. If you want to go short, you could look for that short entry right now and risk up to 165. You're basically risking about $4 or so for a possible move down to 150. So that looks like pretty decent risk to reward for me. A 2:1 risk to reward over there. Is that, yeah, you make $10 for risking $5. I like that risk to reward. 2:1 trade always looks good to me. But I would not hold it past that area, past this 165, 167 area. I would not hold it past that if I am short, that is. All right, let's go see what YouTube chat is saying. Oh man, my thumbs are too big to type on a phone. No, I'm joking, brother. What happened to Palantir? I was away when it dropped. We'll take a look at it. It is on my watch list, but I don't know what exactly happened. Palantir had its June APCon today. It's the 3-hour long. Lots of big ideas and companies from the guest list. Oh, okay, 2023 live stream is unlisted on YouTube. You still do your job well, Bears versus Bull. He does an amazing job, man. I like to learn and listen from Pride. Listen to Pride is priceless. Palantir video that I had emailed to me from them. I haven't watched it yet. Just looked impressive from what I saw so far. Ah, okay. You got an email, unlisted email from their conference, I guess, right? Okay. You gotta. How do you sign up for that? I gotta sign up for that one. I'm actually an investor of Palantir. Is PACW bullish? Says Bilpy. We'll take a look at it. I haven't looked at the regional banks in a long time, so I'll put it over here, PACW and KRE. So PACW and friends. We'll take a look at it later on, but I would never say if I'm bullish or bearish on stocks with high news intensity behind them. All right, you want to be careful with that. Are you trading during the day, or is it impossible because you look at the chat all day? That's a good question. Just learning if I trade, it's too stressful usually. Oh man, okay, I didn't know that. I thought you actually traded while you're managing chat. I actually thought you were doing that. Brad, I sent it to you on Twitter. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate the love. Appreciate it. I will take a look at it. But getting back to Dollar General here, I'm interested in this 150 area. If we do get back below 160 tomorrow as a day trade, could 160 break for a move to 150? Okay. CrowdStrike, also another earnings-based stock, I believe. At least it was on one of these watch lists that I moved around, reported quarterly results and showed slowing revenue growth. dagger to the heart. Only dropped 1.61% though, and looks like they retraced a lot of their drop. They started off the day probably really bad. So as you see over here, pre-market dropping really down bad to the downside. But one of our lines from the past, I'm not sure where that line honestly comes from. Let's scroll back over here. It was somewhere around this 140 right here, right? That line. So that comes from this low, comes into play. Came into play recently too, right there. So that low comes into play today. We hold that bottom in pre-market. The Pratty Daddy lines, man, what do I tell you guys? The Pratty Daddy lines will never disappoint you, right? Comes into play one more time, holds the stock in pre-market exactly at that level. You see it holding in pre-market at that price. Then we start popping up. We start popping up. We start popping up. It goes back down to that exact same price almost off the open, that 142.50 area, and then starts ripping right up to the north side. So beautiful move over there on CrowdStrike. Looks like we got a beautiful price nailed at the moment for the interim price range that we are looking at, which happens to be this high of 142.50s. If this stock goes anywhere back to 142.50s, you can look for longs most likely. But tomorrow, we're looking for shorts. Anywhere from 160 to 162, you're looking for shorts on the stock if it does get up there. 155 break short is an easy short. Shorts, 155 break short. 142.50 target. Oh, look at that. Going on over here, Denver 27, Miami 20, 27 seconds left in the first minute. If you guys don't mind me doing this because I'm an absolute degen who has money on this game, let me go look at the stats real quick, okay? Let's see who's doing what on this game. Looks like Jimmy Buckets is scoring. Okay, Jimmy Buckets got 7 points on the board, 3 rebounds, only 1 assist. Come on, what are you doing, Jimmy Buckets? Okay, Gabe Vincent, Gary Vincent, I think it's Gabe Vincent. 5 points on the board, 2 assists. Let's go. Did you get any threes? Yes, he got me a 3. I needed that. Butler got a 3 too. We'll take that one. How many threes does Murray have? 0 out of 1? Bruh, what are you doing? Okay, what is Jokic doing? Do you have any threes for me? No threes even attempted. You have 4 points. That's good because I think I picked that you're gonna make less than 7 points in the first quarter, and I picked that you'd make more than 7.5 in the first quarter. So both of you did that for me. That's awesome. Awesome. Did Aaron Gordon make any threes? No, he did not. Even better. I think I did pick that one too, that he's not gonna make any threes today. Who else did I had? I needed some points from Bam Adebayo. He's doing some work for me. He has some rebounds too, but no assists. Not bad. So right now Miami is losing, Denver is winning. That's your score recap, ladies and gentlemen. Score recap. All right, now let's get back to the market. CrowdStrike is the last one we looked at. We ended the word with Target, and Target just so happens to be the next stock that we're looking at the moment. Target has been on a straight descent to the north side for the last year or so. Blind Jedi popping in the Twitch stream now. Oh, I thought you were on the YouTube stream. What's up, Blind Jedi? How you doing, my friend? Welcome. And yeah, guys, anyone on the Twitch stream, if you don't know yet, we are streaming on YouTube also. If you are getting annoyed to death with all the advertisements on Twitch, feel free to go to the YouTube link. All the links are in Twitter. So go to my Twitter. You'll find the YouTube link. You'll find the Twitch link. And feel free to click on either one. Dieter is actually watching me on both. Okay, Dieter, the hardcore supporter, watching me on 2 platforms, giving me twice the likes, twice the supports, twice the views, twice the chat count. You the man, dog. You the man. That's my homie from Montreal, Canada. He's not my boy though. If Maple Leafs and Montreal are ever playing against each other, that's just how it goes. We are enemies at that moment, but right at the end of that game, unless the referee screwed us out, we'll be friends. But if the referee screwed us out, then at the end of that game, plus 3 hours more, we won't be friends. That's just how things go, right? That's just how things work. Oh, look at that. Blind's in the YouTube chat too now, and Mezzo's in the in our Twitch chat saying YouTube lol kekw lol 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 lol. Look, Twitch is going to shit, my boy. Twitch is going to shit. All right, but what is also going to shit right now is actually Target, which made a new 52-week low, but is trying to bounce off of that new 52-week low area, which happens to be 126.75. We got back above 130 today, ended actually positive 0.18%. Even with the whole weakness in the retail sector that's going on, Target actually managed to find a bottom and pop back up. Let's go quickly see what Walmart is looking like. Walmart might have been part of the reason why Target went up, because look, Walmart didn't go too far to the downside today, and Walmart hasn't been constantly declining, right? Let's go see what Costco is doing. Costco is also not doing what Target's doing, so congratulations to Costco. We do know that part of the reason why Target's getting beat down and making a new 52-week low is because of the whole LGBTQ thing. You know, they took off some products that were LGBTQ related and they caught some slack over it, and now they're getting pushed down to the downside, along with some inventory problems that they had recently. They fixed that inventory problems and they turned that around a little bit by this earnings report coming out good also, but they did announce a little bit of a fear in retail spending, I believe, and then the LGBTQ news coming out and absolutely destroying Target. What do we see Target going to in the future is the question now. Clearly this range breaking will now turn this bottom as a resistance, so Target could easily pop up to 140, but I'm looking for possible resistances coming in off of that 140 area for this stock. Looks like we are right around this range. You see how the high of that range is currently where we closed at, and looks like the low of that range is currently the middle of this range. So we could maybe go down to 125, 120 according to this. But I think, you know, we have seen the drops now. It's been multiple days to the downside. If tomorrow is a free fall Friday, maybe it does go back more to the downside, but I'm looking for a pop up towards 140 for me to take short fills. Until then, I'm going to be staying away from the stock a little bit. So shorts only near 140, hands off until then. Could look for longs, but nah. Okay. Lulu. Oh, baby. So here's a crazy thought that I was having yesterday. Obviously, I was high out of my mind, right? I'm sorry, what did I say? No, I was not. YouTube is going to demonetize me for saying this. I'm so stupid for saying that out loud. What am I doing with my life? There goes all the money that I was about to make from the YouTube ad revenue. All the millions of dollars. Jesus, Brad. Okay, anyways, walking around on the streets of Toronto, completely sober out of my mind, just walking around, and you know, I saw a lot of cute girls. Obviously, downtown Toronto, a lot of cute girls walking around. A lot of them had Lululemons. This one girl, amazing body, loved it. Lululemon pants or tights or whatever you call them, joggers, pants, tights, leggings, right? Lululemon leggings. She had a Lululemon crop top. She had a Lululemon body bag, you know, one of those side bags. And I don't know how much those things cost, because like I don't know the women's clothing prices, but as far as I know, the men's clothing prices in Lululemons are expensive. So if this girl over here is rocking, if each one of those items costs about $100, she's rocking $300 worth of Lululemon right there. And if I just span my head to the right, I'll see another girl looking exactly like her, rocking a Lululemon leggings and a normal top, and then look left and it's the exact same thing happening there too. So clearly this company sells out. They make a ton of money. Recently, because of the whole retail nonsense, Foot Locker, JWN, retail getting hit, this stock has really pummeled to the downside, breaking the 100 period EMA on the daily chart and the 50 period EMA on the daily chart. That's turning of trends, turning of events. And we clearly filled the gap now, right? We made a beautiful gap off the last earnings report. Beautiful gap. But now with the negative catalyst in the sector, breaking that gap and pushing it down, sadly, I was thinking, this is what my point was, I was thinking, you know, maybe this is a good spot to look for longs on Lululemon. This might be a perfect area to build into for a long term or even for a swing trade, especially as they are announcing earnings. Obviously, that would have been a little bit of a YOLO trade because you're gambling by taking a position before the earnings report, especially on a stock that's $300. If that report came out negative, this was going to drop to $281 instantly. Right? So that was going to be a gamble. So I stayed away from it. What happens? The report comes out, gangbusters. 4% beat on revenue, 16% beat on earnings per share. So the stock pops up 24% growth on revenue, on sales, sorry, and raising full year guidance. Seema Modi. Oh, now we gotta watch this video, guys.
Morgan, it's a strong report on the top and bottom line. Earnings of $2.28 adjusted, which is well ahead Wall Street's estimate of $1.98. Sales at $2 billion, which also is above what Wall Street had been forecasting, $1.92 billion. I would point out that net revenue did increase 24%. Same-store sales were strong, but digital sales slightly disappointing, but that's not reflected in shares, which are up about 11% here in after hours or overtime, excuse me. CFO Megan Frank saying our Q1
I'll excuse you anytime you want, baby. Wait, who said that? Who hijacked my mic?
She mentions the acceleration that they are seeing in China, coupled with lower air freight, contributed to our better than planned financial performance. So once again, you have a retailer here, Morgan, mentioning the acceleration they are seeing in China, and the stock again up about 11% here. The conference call does begin at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. There will be some questions, Morgan, around that acquisition of Mirror for $500 million in 2020. That hasn't gone as planned, so Wall Street will want an update on the company's digital fitness strategy going forward, because that has been a key focus for the company. But right now, stock trading at $363 a share. More when we get on the call. Back to you.
Yeah, and of course those.
That's enough. I don't want to hear more. That's all I wanted to hear. That's the only person I care about when she's talking. That's the only person I care about. Okay. Okay. So next, so obviously we do know a big beat on numbers. That's what my love of my life already told you. Clearly, also raising guidance coming out, says it in the title right there. So that overall idea of I see memes and things saying spicy Pratt and copyright strike. Yeah, hopefully not. Look, I'm already not making any money and I'm getting demonetized for saying what I said earlier. So just add this to that list, right? Go ahead, YouTube, add it to the list. Anyways, the idea of getting long over here would not have hurt because they did come out with an amazing report, and look at that move right back up to the north side. $372, $373 coming into play. Where is that move? $372, $373, right back into the higher ranges for Lululemon. I wouldn't be surprised if we see $380, $390 coming into play tomorrow or over the span of next week. I will not be surprised at all, especially because all of this move was not for Lululemon. It was because of Foot Locker and everybody else that was getting hurt. Lululemon not getting hurt, man. So that was an insane play for these guys. Anyone who did buy the dip on this position, especially off of this triple top breakout earnings breakout move, I mean, like, how much money per dollar did you just make? Like, you made insane dollars per share, right? Beautiful move on Lululemon overall. The stock just never fails. I mean, it never fails man, and it never fails women either. It makes women look great, and it makes men feel good, right? So I love Lululemon. I'm sure you do too, and the investors do too. Now they do, right? Congratulations to everyone who's in Lululemon. Quickly going to the chat. Good trades to every tomorrow. Hope for a nice move. Yeah, like $100 for a bottom on woman. You're talking about Lululemon over there. Okay, got it. Pratt talking about his future wife wearing Lululemon all day, baby. If she's not wearing Lulu, she's not my wife. I'll tell you that. In Germany, the girl's like Torstring wearing. Now I took a little short on. Oh, you took a little short on XAU. What is that? What is XAU? Silver. Ah. Or is that like, are you talking about XAU like the dollar or something? XAU gold. Ah, gold. I guess this is what you took a short on, gold. Not bad. I like that. I like that short. Maybe risk that high right there. Risk that high, and if that doesn't break, you're in for a nice move, maybe somewhere down here. I like that short. I'm guessing that's the move you're talking about. Lululemons for sure. Show you Lululemons. I'll tell you that one, right? So I like Lulu, ladies and gentlemen. I think I've said enough. Let's go here. Look for these levels again. Dip by 370. Move to 390 next week. Okay. We still have a lot of stocks to go through over here, and it's already 50 minutes into our stream. So maybe it's time to start speed running some of these stocks, because obviously the next few stocks that are up here are kind of expensive. Pretty hard for us to even kind of get into a trade, but MongoDB is actually in a nice little range over here for us to possibly look for a breakout. And obviously with the earnings report coming after hours today, that move might have actually taken place. So I'm expecting MongoDB above 300. Now let's go see if that is accurate. $364. There's no free fall Friday tomorrow, is there? What? Are you telling me we're going to 390 on this stock tomorrow also? Nah, we're pulling back to... What? I'm at loss for words, ladies and gentlemen. I'm at loss for words. So these are the levels that I'm interested in. 323 area, 343 area, 365 area, and 390 area. The stock clearly made an insane pop in the after hours. Look at that. So 364, 365 areas I'm interested in. And any dip buys on these areas, 323, 343, would be interesting. I would be looking to dip buys around these areas. There could be a pullback on the stock tomorrow, and then I mean, I can't see a pullback all the way back to 300. It's not dropping $64 in pre-market and throughout the day tomorrow. I don't see that happening. We also, if you notice over here, that initial move high was exactly that candle that we just nailed. The second candle, this is 1 5-minute candles you're looking at. The second candle also struggled to get past that level. The third candle gets past that level, we never really come back. And we actually push up to the next level that we did map out just 5 minutes ago, as you saw me put these levels down. So this is very interesting for me. 343 to 350, sorry, 343 to 345 is very interesting for me. The next level after that would be over here. Now, if we go to the 1-minute chart, you might see this level coming into play a little bit. No, it just runs through that level. Just runs through that level. You see that high right there? We nailed that high. Comes into play again, and then it rips past that. You gotta trade the stock tomorrow. Like this has to be a trade at 343 to 345. Easy dip buys. All right, so what I wrote down in my notes over there is a 365.50 break, 365.50 break long also in play, but only if it happens off the open. If I don't see that break happening off the open, I'm not that interested on that trade. So 365, 366 area, this could be a bull trap happening right up to this high. Right, what is that high? 367.29. So it could be a bull trap all the way from 365.50 to 367. If you are taking that breakout trade off the open from 365, but you are seeing selling coming in at 367 and no real buying pressure coming in above 367 to take us to 390, 400, then that's the high on the stock right there. You want to take your profits. You might want to flip short because we are now making that move down to 343, 323, and so on. And that's what I'm expecting on the stock tomorrow, MongoDB. I think this one's going to be the #1 play tomorrow, and a very easy play tomorrow. We'll have to see. Obviously, we'll just have to wait and see if that one ends up playing as Pratty Daddy is expecting it to happen. AVGO, ladies and gentlemen, a really expensive ass stock. Very hard to trade it. Very crazy spread and in low liquidity. I mean, 8 million shares traded today. I can't be saying low liquidity, but at the same time, you know, it is spready, $900 stock. So I would be careful trading this one. I'm actually just going to delete it off my watch list. We'll talk about it real quick. You know, earnings play coming out. They have been popping up recently to the north side. They did get added a little bit to the MSCI index, which is the Morgan Stanley index. You know how S&P 500 has an index and so on. So AVGO got added to the MSCI index last night, May 31st, and that's why you're seeing this pop on this position today. Sorry, this is the pop on this position yesterday right there. Today, having a little bit of a drop, sadly, 2.23%. Earnings coming out good. AVGO, just another semiconductor position. So Nvidia's move helping them out. AMD's move, AI's move in general helping them out to the north side. And Broadcom, which is AVGO, recently had a deal with Apple. Also another catalyst that helped them out to go to the north side. All positive catalysts for AVGO, allowing them to make a new all-time high. And now earnings catalyst will probably help them continue to keep some of these levels and not really drop too much to the downside. At the same time, you might want to keep watching the semiconductor ETF. You saw Nvidia break out a new all-time high and now pulling back a little bit. Some of these semiconductor stocks have made an insane move. It might be time for them to retrace a little bit and go find where the liquidity, where the buyers are. So if that is happening, you could see AVGO go down even with the positive catalyst. So just keep that in mind if you are trading this expensive stock tomorrow. Now we're going to go to Zscaler. I believe Zscaler has earnings or had earnings already. Yeah, had earnings after hours today. Something that I don't really trade, but on earnings days, you know, it seems to give you decent moves to trade off of. Looks like they're actually going downside off the earnings report over here overall. If I do see anything on them, I don't think I found anything about them. Yeah, I didn't really find anything about them. I just found them off of this one over here. Where is it? This guy over here, Zscaler after hours. They had a little bit of a downtrend all the way. They did break that recent downtrend and are now on an uptrend to the north side. So you can see that over here on the 1 year chart, daily chart. So they did break that downtrend. They had a nice little gap up, and with that positive earnings report, you would have expected them to continue making that move up towards 143 or so on, but that's not looking like how they're going to do today, as the after hour earnings report actually propels them. What is the opposite of propel? Dump them to the downside all the way to 128 areas. I think we'll see 125 tomorrow, and especially a short off of that 125 could give you a nice little move to somewhere in 114s as a swing trade, maybe even a day trade. But that's Zscaler. Not looking too interesting for me because it looks a little bit mixed. You know, they beat on the earnings report, but they are looking to go down. Maybe they announced mixed guidance, or they lowered their guidance. So I might need to do a little bit more research, but I'm just not liking it with how they moved after hours, and especially how they reported. Dell had a little bit of an oopsie today. They announced their report a little bit too early. Their report leaked, Look at this. I have lines over here from the previous earnings report move. So looks like those lines kind of still in play at the moment, as we are holding some of these levels to the north side and to the south side. Came into play again yesterday and kind of coming into play today. Dell did announce that earnings report. They got halted, and overall looks like even though they did beat on the earnings report, after the halt they did pop up. They opened up and straight to the downside after that halt, and more selling coming in after hours. So we'll wait and see. I think this report was bullish if I remember correctly for Dell. Let's go see if we can find something about them here. Nope. About them here. Nope. Awesome. But I do remember hearing about them through Brendan and through Sean and through Neil. So I think it was a positive report overall. You know, a bump in demand for computers coming back in. Recently, they said there was a lower demand in computers. You saw AMD complaining about that. You saw HPQ complaining about that. But recently, I think yesterday, HPE actually went up to the north side with their earnings report. And today, yeah, up 1.73%. HPQ also, which is the same damn company. I don't know what the difference is over here. Also up 1.24%. And you're watching Dell kind of do the opposite, right? But still up 1.45% overall. And I do think we see a green day tomorrow coming in for DELL. And any of these levels would be nice to look for a dip buy coming in. If we do see it coming towards this 50 period EMA on the daily chart, easy buy near 44 in my opinion, but I don't think we do see that. I think 45 is a level for you to get lucky, and if you can get filled at 45, I think that's money fills right there. That'll be lucky for you to get that tomorrow. Tomorrow we might actually open up above 45.50 in my opinion, and start making that run up towards the north side. That's my opinion. 45 dip buy looks good. Asana, I've actually used Asana products when I used to work as a software tester. It's pretty good software. I'm not complaining about them. So but here's what I don't know, and I don't know what I don't know is all the changes that they might have done. They might have gone to they might have had bad programmers. Maybe their software is not as good as what it used to be. So I don't know what the truth is anymore with the software. What we can do is absolutely take guesses on this one now. But numbers are coming out good. You know, they are doing better and better on their earnings report. Their revenue is declining a bit, but they are doing good on that side too. We are seeing Asana down on the day today. Overall, how the market moved, I think that kind of hurt Asana, but the after hours report most likely helping them back to the north side. There you go. A little bit of a confused move overall, but helping them to the north side. I think Asana will give you some longs tomorrow, especially off of these areas. I'll be looking for a move up to 28, 29 coming into play. You could look for longs on the break of 23. Most likely that's the play right there. I'm looking for 23, 24 breakout long, taking out today's high or yesterday's high. 23, 24 breakout long. Here's a stock that was moving around all day today. I only know this because I heard it being mentioned on that call from Luis Barbados that Brendan held in the morning. UCAR, apparently a 7 million float, a high short float. Is that right? 7 million float, not a high short float, but 3% short float. Recent IPO went up crazy, $75, $74 coming into play, and then come right back to the downside. Went as low as $2.98, let's say $3, and now popping back up with higher volume than it's ever traded. 123 million shares today. So lots of craziness happening. Looks like we halted a little bit to the upside today. We halted here, and looks like that was basically only halt. So that was the only halt we had today on UCAR. But for the most part, this stock has been not bad, I guess, right? For a stock like this, you would think it would halt more. That's not bad at all. So if you look at these two ranges over here, this is the opening 5-minute range high, opening 5-minute range low. The stock obviously moved up crazily in the pre-market itself. The opening 5-minute range high happened to be the pre-market high. The opening range 5-minute low, not that significant compared to the pre-market ranges, but significant for the day itself, for the day move. We start holding the 5-minute low. We do dip under it a little bit, but then we start holding again above it. That was right there your chance to build into a long. You see it holding, it breaks. Maybe you try for a short, it gets back up, you stop. Maybe you try again, you get stopped out. Now you flip long. You can add on this break because this is a setup that I really like. It's the opening 5-minute range high break and a pre-market high break. And it's happening all before 12 o'clock. That means there's still volume to most likely come in on this break. Something's really wrong. Oh, there you go. There's still volume to come in on this stock. And actually, that's where most volume transacted for the stock on the day. So the breakout's going to be good because you're getting a bump in volume. More volume than pre-market. Usually stocks do that. If they don't do that, that's an issue. You should not be trading that in a day trade if it doesn't. But you are seeing exactly what you need to see for you to enter in that position. So you could have built into the shorts over here and lost, taken the breakout of this range, added the breakout of this range, added on the pre-market / opening range 5-minute breakout, and never looked back on this position because it never comes back into play. Goes as high as $11. So UCAR, an absolute money maker to the long side and a widow maker to the short side today, unless obviously you caught the right time to short it, right? That would have been a little bit hard to catch the shorts on this stock. Long's easy. No real levels for me to play off of this one, I'll be honest with you. I guess you're looking at this, happened to be somewhere around the high today. You're looking at that, and you're looking at, I don't know if that level comes into play. We'll just put today's bottom on radar. Let's go back to the 5-minute chart and see if we missed a certain level. I do like this level over here, but instead we'll put it over here. And yeah, so we have these levels mapped out. If UCAR moves around tomorrow, and if it does get above 1076 to 1130, you could look for a longs, but I'll be surprised to see the stock be crazy tomorrow again. I could be wrong. We've seen Pratt be wrong before. And we've seen stocks like these go crazy before. So if UCAR gets above 1076 to 1130, you might want to be a little careful to the short side because this stock could absolutely rip your face off. But if you are looking for shorts, I would try somewhere around here or maybe a little bit higher than this. Not too much. I would actually be away from shorts to begin with. Let me put that in my notes here. Long break if 1070 to 1130 area breaks. 1080, let's say. Smaller range. That way I don't have to give it that much of a risk. CHPT, not something that I actually do trade or will trade, but earnings report coming out. Good earnings report, negative guidance, pushing the stock back to the downside, actually below where the low of the day was. The stock was positive on the day, but the overall move on the stock now coming out a little bit to the sour side. Looks like we want to go right back to the 52-week low, which is $7.82. That might also be the all-time low. It is the all-time low. So get ready for the stock to maybe push back to somewhere in these ranges. You might see the $8 area coming in for a dip buy, possible buying area for a long around this 8 to 782. But if 782 breaks, then it's a simple short. Possible long from 782 to 8, but if that breaks, easy short for new 52-week low. It's actually crazy how we're finding levels and trades for almost every stock that we looked at, except for Zscaler. It's not usual for that to be, guys. Take in how beautiful the market's getting because the market's actually breaking ranges, right? We're getting a beautiful breakout on the NASDAQ, pushing up to 14,500 almost. S&P 500 getting back up to 4,200 and actually now staying above 4,200. We did start the day below 4,200. So it's beautiful market right now coming into play, and it's putting stocks in nice ranges for us to take advantage of, and that's why we're finding so many plays right now. The next stock though, you guys know I don't really trade this position. The stock absolutely scams me every time I do trade it. It's called Stressla for a reason on the floor. So Stressla gives me a lot of stress, for God, sure. And no point for me to touch it if that's the case, right? I try to stay away from it. I do like to look at the stock, but I can never get the moves right on this position. Anytime I've touched it, I lose on it. And at this point, it just feels like it's in my head at this point, right? The stock is living rent free in my head, so I stay away. But for anyone who's interested in levels, first I will say don't listen to my levels on Tesla. Never listen to my levels on Tesla. I don't. But if you are interested on what I do think the stock will do, I think this is enough of a move to the upside. We do see a little bit of a pullback coming in. I am expecting free fall Friday on the overall market tomorrow. But that being said, the debt ceiling things are going to the Senate. Things are looking good. The market is looking good. There is no real negative catalyst right now. The only real negative catalyst that might come out tomorrow is the non-pharma payrolls. So non-pharma payrolls coming out at 8:30, the average hourly earnings coming out at 8:30. Both of these numbers even the unemployment rate coming out at 8:30. All of these numbers very important for Papa Powell to take a look at how to tame the beast named inflation, to see if the interest rates need to be keep on raised, or if they need to now be paused and can be maybe start seeing some interest cuts coming into play. So 3 important numbers coming out for the Feds to take a look at tomorrow, and for the market to digest how to position themselves. Maybe more fear, maybe more greed in the market, and these numbers at 8:30 will dictate those moves. So we could see a free fall coming in at 8:30. We could see an absolute rip our faces off climb coming out at 8:30. So be very careful, because that's going to be a market maker decision. It could also be an absolute nothing burger. We've seen that happen multiple times. So be ready for all of those situations. If tomorrow is a free fall Friday on Tesla, I think the 205 break to the downside, or even the 200 break to the downside, if that does come into play, will be something to take a look at. The same thing can be said about all of these big tech stocks that we have on board over here, such as Tesla, Apple. Let me just remove Tesla here. Let me copy these two and put them over here. And the same thing can be said about all these big tech stocks, right? If we do see a free fall coming in, Apple under 180 is an easy short. The high of day today, 108.09. Yes, we finally managed to get above 108, and we actually closed above 108. Oh, okay. Even though I did say, it's not going to happen, but it happened. Pratt happened to be wrong. Whatever. I'm just sour over here. I'm a little upset that I'm wrong on my call out today. But overall, yeah, Apple did get above 180 and managed to close above 180. Pre-market shows us some more buying, taking us above 180. But if tomorrow is a free fall Friday, especially at 8:30, you can expect shorts, and Apple shorts around these levels are easy shorts, ladies and gentlemen. You're gonna watch the stock go down to 175, 170 easily. Maybe 174 holds up, right? But you're gonna watch the stock go straight to the downside, and you're gonna be easy short fills. The 179 break short, look at this level. Easy short off the break off that level. And if we're still above 180 at 8:30 and the numbers come out bad, take the 180 break short and just enjoy the ride to the south side. So big tech over here giving you beautiful levels, all to take fun on obviously your own risk tolerance. That's the word I'm looking for, on your risk tolerance. Google holding amazing at right now at this 122.50, 123 area. That's a level for you to short if market goes sour. If market goes to the upside and we're around that levels, you can look for a long, or you can look for that next breakout, which is 123, 124, 125. Look for that breakout and get in, right? It's going to be that simple tomorrow. Same thing for Microsoft. So all of these big tech stocks are absolutely in prime prices, prime ranges for you to take advantage in, and it's going to be a lot of fun, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that you are obviously employing proper risk management and not getting beat up. I almost had to sell some of my AMD today. So I remember when I said if AMD gets below this price and starts closing the gap, I want to close some of my AMD position. Almost had to do that today. Thankfully, AMD bounced $1 above that price. 115.50 is my price. We managed to bounce $1 above that price and go back to the north side. Almost got above 120 today, but sadly closed below 120 for AMD. Tomorrow we'll see if this one, we might have to close some shares on AMD tomorrow for some profit, obviously. And then my average most likely goes back down, which is even better, but I just won't be holding as much size as I am. So yeah, big tech. We looked at big tech. let's go take a quick look at Bitcoin, which sadly is back under 27K. We are holding that trend line that we drew from this bottom of March 23rd, which happens to be around 27K. Oh, 26,666. Are you kidding me? Okay. So, or 26,650, let's say. We're holding around that price. The top trend line came into a rejection after this move, but we're hoping that this bottom support shows to continue show us support and help us get back to the upside. I need Bitcoin to go back up so I can make some money on that account, but right now not looking good. Coinbase, however, 2.2% to the north side, even though Bitcoin did go down. So 2.2% to the upside, taking advantage of some of these moves over here in the overall market and pushing up. So congratulations to that. It doesn't matter, Brad. Like to short any numbers. Shush. So you just look at those girls, didn't ask for their numbers. Look, I was looking at them. But my mind went to the market. All I could focus are those Lululemon symbols all over their body, especially right above their booty. And I just couldn't focus on... You know what? I focused on what needed to be focused, which is how can I make money off of this, right? I'm not gonna pimp her out because that's not who I am, but how can I make money off of what I just saw? And I figured it out. But did I put it to work? No. Damn it. I suck as a trader and as a risk god. I suck. Yikes. All right, let's get back to the market here before I get upset. Thank you, Blind Jedi. Okay, Palantir. Still looking good, man. We did push up to 1527. No way, 1522. So I almost got break even on Palantir on my long-term account. The stock is getting ready to maybe hold up in these ranges. Hold up, way. Push them back to the north side. Make me rich. So yeah, this stock is hopefully pushing back up, man. I would love to see Palantir above 15 bucks. I'm looking for these $30 areas to come back in. I mean, all-time high 45, so I'd probably have to wait another year for $30 to come into play, but I'm a long-term investor on Palantir. If we pull back into these ranges from 22 to 25, I'm not taking profits. I'm actually adding to my position. Trust me on this. I'm actually adding to my position on Palantir anywhere above 20 to 25 area. If it does go up there and it starts holding, it starts consolidating, I'm adding to my long term. I love this company. I love what they do. So I can't wait for these guys to keep on pushing up. After your list, can you take a look at ABBV? I'm thinking of adding it to my dividends portfolio. It's $1.03 per share. I think also I just want a second opinion. ABBV. I know I've heard this ticker a lot. I've seen it a lot before. I just don't know what they do. So pharmaceuticals, health tech sector. Okay. What kind of drugs do they make? Okay, focus on treating conditions such as chronic autoimmune disease in, do you want me to try that? Rheumatology. Oh, I actually think I did that right. Rheumatology, gastroenterology, and dermatology, oncology, including blood cancers, virology, hepatitis C, and human immunodeficiency virus. Oh, that's HIV. That's what HIV stands for. Oh, wow. I'm learning so much right now. Human immunodeficiency. Okay, I said that right the first time, okay? I'm ESL. So give me a break. Immunodeficiency virus, neurological disorders such as Parkinson's, metabolic, comprising thyroid disease and complications associated with cystic fibrosis, pain associated with endometriosis, I screwed up over there, endometriosis, and other serious health conditions. The company was founded on October 19, 2011? Really? That's fairly new. This company was established in 2011, headquartered in North Chicago. Chirac? All right, let's take a look at the stock on the long-term scale here. So I'm not sure how popular their drugs are, right? I don't know how popular their drugs are, but obviously they're treating a lot of common things, which probably bring in a lot of money because a lot of people probably deal with these things, right? Such as which one? Hepatitis, maybe, I don't know, blood cancers, Parkinson's. I know a lot of people that have that, metabolic issues, thyroid disease. I'm trying to see, where was the one of the word that I found that people obviously who have HIV. Magic Johnson probably keeps this company alive with his own buying purchase coming in every year and so on. How much does Magic Johnson? Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, so Magic Johnson obviously has been living. Oh, wait. What? Did they get it removed? For nearly 0 years in tank to advance his disease, now more manageable. Oh, more manageable. So yeah, he's been living with it, and this probably is, this company is being survived from him. I'm just making a joke here, probably a bad joke overall, but they clearly make money, and they have been absolutely skyrocketing ever since their existence. I mean, look, this is their IPO, and it's very rare that you see a company that recently IPOs. 2011 is not that long ago, that recently IPOs and does stuff like this. Like, when was Palantir IPO? 2022 or something? Yeah, 2021, 2022. Can we know about any other 2011 IPOs that are not this good? There's probably so many of them that we can take a look at. I'm trying to find and see if this company makes money, and my answer is probably yes. I should already know that by looking at the chart. But if you go to the PE, yeah, look, they have a PE, so they do make money, and it's actually not a bad PE at all. Their forward PE of 12, which is even better than their current PE of 30. So this stock, even though it is, pushed down right now quite a bit from their all-time highs, it is looking like it's getting into a nice little range of possible add to your long-term portfolios if you are interested in it. Obviously, we did break this demand area, recent demand area, but I wouldn't call this a real break, right? Even though we did get under that price, if you look at the candle of that one-day chart, we are pretty close to that demand area. So the demand might have stepped in a little bit lower than that price, but it's still getting in there. I could see the stock, pull back all the way up to 121. I would not be surprised to see the stock in this ranges. So if I'm interested in adding this to my long term, anywhere from 120 to 130 is where I would be interested in buying some, but nothing wrong with buying 134. What's the difference between 134 and 131? Obviously, what, $3, Brad? But for someone who's interested in the long term, that's not really that much difference for you. But 120 to 130 is where I would be most likely be wanting to buy this position up. Currently, we might have a little bit more downside. Looks like it recently announced earnings on the 27th of April. The next earnings report is on 28th of July. And you're saying the dividend is 130. Yeah, it's actually 148. It's actually $1.48 per share. So a little bit higher than what you were expecting. Not bad at all, huh? Not bad at all. Now let's get back to our thing. It's an hour 23. So Palantir, SoFi. We looked at Palantir. Let's go take a look at SoFi. SoFi has been doing a little bit of crazy stuff. If you guys remember Tuesday night stream, and for whoever that remembers Tuesday night stream, hit like on YouTube stream. If you're on the Twitch stream, hit follow on the Twitch stream if you haven't hit yet. So what I'm trying to say is, over here, I gave you the easiest trade of your life on Tuesday night. I told you go long SoFi if it's above $6. 704 was where it moved up to on that day. Today, 663 holds, 726 high a day today. It closed under yesterday's close, sure, but 726 26 high a day today. I gave you one of the most easiest trades. The $6 level was very important on SoFi, has been important in the history. Pops up recently to that price. If it stays above that price in pre-market and opens above that price, that's a long. And that's what it played out. I'm looking for rejections now on this position, sadly, even though I am very bullish on this position for the long term. That is my average price. I am looking for rejections now on this stock anywhere in these areas. $8 rejection, $8.50 rejection for a possible short back to the downside. Be careful if you're looking for more longs on this one. I hope I am wrong on that call because I do need the stock to go up to $13. Carvana, something that I don't really trade. Very nonsensical moves if you ask me. Still a pretty high short float overall, I believe so. So if you go to CBNA, wow, Denver Nuggets are cleaning out the heats, my boy. 69% short float, 50% short float, so 70 to 90 million shares available on the market for you to trade. Insanely high short float, could pop up, could be the next GME. I'm just so done with the whole short squeeze gameplay. There's so much like craziness that goes on in that game that I'm just not interested in it. But we'll see what happens, man. Looks like we got a previous high over here of 1980, and that just so happens to be the bottom around this range that we just mapped out. So we'll wait and see if 1980 does come into play tomorrow. If $20 does come into play, I think that's an easy short on Carvana. But high short float, you could see the short squeeze happening. Would you want to be gambling short in this stock? Most likely not, right? Most likely not. Probably not on my radar at all. OKTA, don't really trade the stock. I just put it on the radar because it did drop pretty drastically today off the earnings report. Probably because they guided lower. I mean, look, they actually beat on earnings per share. They were expected to report a little bit lower. And they also beat on revenue. But overall, nothing helped on that side. After hours, they dropped drastically in pre-market. So after hours yesterday, pre-market tried to rescue themselves a little bit. They did hold off in somewhat in the pre-market ranges off the open. And I think because of the overall move that you're seeing right there, the stock could have a little bit more downside, sadly, all the way back down to 67.25 area, right back to this range low to go test for more demand tests. So we'll watch out for the stock. We could see these ranges acting as resistances. Still not a trade for me, not interested. A beautiful bump up in volume, I agree, right? Average 10-day volume 4 million shares, today's volume 19 million shares. But as you see, a lot of these stocks bring in volume on the day of earnings and then lose volume the next day. So I'm not interested in it tomorrow. Today was interesting. You would have been maybe be able to catch some SSR longs because it is on SSR. You would have been able to catch that in front of $70 if you did risk 20 cents on that trade, obviously, and that gave you $4 per share reward if you did get into it. But tomorrow, not interested on this position. Maybe shorts off of this 60, 75, 76 area would be something to take a look at, but I'm just not interested. I'll just put it over here, 75, 76 shorts, question mark. Question mark means I don't really know. AAP, this stock has been getting beat down quite a bit now. I mean, look at that move right before earnings. I think that was what happened. They were supposed to report earnings. I guess they didn't, and they reported earnings today, I think. Overall though, yeah, pretty big gap down over here, and now they continue to make moves to the downside. Recently $120 stock, now a $68 stock. So holy smokes, what happened here? Oh, abandons long-time bullish call. Yikes. So we are below 2020 lows. This is probably the first stock that I am seeing below 2020 lows, the COVID lows. That's something. This stock is actually interesting now because you could see more downside coming, especially if we don't get above the 71.33 area. If we don't get above the 71 price and stay above 71, there could be a lot more downside coming in. The stock could actually go bankrupt. BOFA abandons, what was it? What was the freaking news on this? BOFA abandoned long-term bullish call. Long-time bullish call. Okay, so we looked at these already, and now we only have one or two stocks left, which are never on our watch list. So we'll wipe them off over there, but we'll talk about it because a viewer asked about it. So PACW, oh, not bad at all. 4% pop up. We're still holding these $5, $6 areas at the moment. But I would have expected, you know, PACW maybe to do what WAL did, get back into these ranges over here. If you go to WAL, you see how WAL popped right back up into the higher range of my purple box. The purple box still acts as an absolute barrier. The 50-day EMA is actually right around the high of that purple box, showing you that there are big hedge fund money managers, traders who use large sums of money to trade, who are positioning themselves off of this 50-day EMA. They're either taking profits every time the stock pops up to this 50-day EMA line, or they're either getting short at the 50-day EMA line, not allowing the stock to really push up too much further, and we're seeing that resistance coming in right now. I would have expected PACW to maybe do that a little bit more, but this is the new range. Looks like it wants to form and reject it. We're still a little bit far from the 50-day EMA on PACW at the moment, which is at $9.45, sorry, and we're trading at $6.72 at the moment. Is the stock bullish was the question. I would still be waiting on trying to trade these regional banks to the long side. Obviously, they are at amazing prices. The risk to reward is beautiful on it, especially if you believe that PACW is going to recover and not go Silverbank mode. Silvergate, and what's the other one? Silvergate Bank. Silicon Valley Bank. So I think it's still Silvergate. It was a Silvergate, chat. Silvergate, it was. Okay, yeah. So Silvergate and Silicon Valley, SIVB, maybe they don't go like that, and this risk to reward allowing you to watch the stock rally back up to what, $25, $50 in the span of the next 5-10 years. That's a crazy dip buy opportunity coming in for you, right? It's like you being able to buy the stock at IPO prices, but realistically it's below IPO prices. This is actually a beautiful price range. If you look at it, like, look, holds, rejects, under, downside. So if anytime the stock does pop back above 1333, I think that is when you're looking for the bullish sign. This right here is, for me, go long. If we start making that move back above this line over here, which happens to be, let's say, 1250, you could even say 10 maybe. I would say 1250. If PACW ever gets back above 1250, I would easily go long on that position myself for that move up to $50, $64 in the span of the next, you know, what is this, from 2001 to 2007? So it took them 8 years to go from IPO price of 13 to 64, and obviously 2008 crashed them, and it took them all of their life to get back up into that range, right? And then the 2020 crashed them again, and then they got right back up into that range. So and then the Silverbank and Silvergate crashed them. What do you think happens next? If these guys survive this, what do you think happens next? Right? So I do like the trade, but I wouldn't say I'm bullish until it gets back above that 1250 area for PACW. KRE is currently showing us a little bit of a higher low, which is good. But if you look at the recent trend, we are watching lower highs. No, higher low. Sorry, lower low, but a higher low today, which is good. But these are very news dependent positions, can move on a whim, can move on a second. You want to be very, very careful, ladies and gentlemen. This is the end of all the charting today. Hopefully you enjoyed all the charts that we were looking at. I'll leave you guys real quick once again with a quick summary of what is happening tomorrow on the economics calendar. The economic calendar is showing you three very important pieces of information. Economic data coming out at 8:30 tomorrow. Average hourly earnings at 8:30. You got non-pharma payrolls at 8:30. You also have the unemployment rate at 8:30. All three of the numbers which are going to be tracked by your father, my father, everyone's father, the market's father, Papa Powell. And we'll see if Free Fall Friday is being triggered off of these numbers, or a Kangaroo Friday is being triggered off of these numbers, or an absolute SpaceX rocket Dragon Falcon 9 BFR big effing rocket, which was actually supposed to be the original name of that rocket ship, is going to take place tomorrow, is going to launch tomorrow to stratosphere. So be ready for all of these possible events that take place. It's going to be fun no matter what, because the market always presents us with trades. It's your job to be patient, be a sniper, hunt those positions, and have fun. Have fun, right? So ladies and gentlemen, thank you as always. Let's go here. Thank you as always for taking the time off your day to come watch me. It's been an hour 35 actually, so a little bit of an extended stream for you guys. I always like that. My goal is to always hit an hour or so, so anytime I do hit an hour, I'm happy. Thank you for watching me for the last hour and a half. Hopefully you guys were able to find some trades for yourself. If you haven't already, please go follow me on YouTube. I am streaming live on YouTube right now. And if you are following me on YouTube and you don't know that I'm also streaming on Twitch, maybe go follow me on Twitch also. At the same time, go check out our amazing Discord server. It is basically run by not Bears vs. Wolves, by Blind Jedi, absolute beautiful human who helps me out so much with that server. Thank you, Blind Jedi, with everything that you do for that server. You're an absolute legend. Tomorrow, I will not be streaming because it's Friday, and hopefully it's going to be a patio Friday. Hoping for a patio Friday. Good weather tomorrow. We'll cross our fingers. At the moment, Denver Nuggets, for those of you interested, 74, Miami Heat 57, and 5 minutes left in the third quarter. So clearly Denver's sweeping the floor here. They're gonna probably win 4-0 against Miami Heat. Maybe Heat take one game. That's maximum I'm giving them. I think it's gonna be 5-1 Denver Nuggets, 4-1 Denver Nuggets, or 4-0 Denver Nuggets, with my boy Jamal Murray bringing home Canada the ring, baby. So we'll see how that happens. I will see you guys Monday, 8:30 p.m. I also want to leave you guys with a quick little cliffhanger, a little bit of a cliffhanger. There might be some changes coming. I don't know if these changes are gonna happen. I still have to run through some of the logistics. I got offered something, and part of me wants to do it, part of me doesn't. So I'll fight it out with my inner demons in my inner head, and we'll see if we want to take that new opportunity or not. It's looking good. Life's looking good, ladies and gentlemen. Last but not least, I want to take a second to say rest in peace to a very good friend, Pablo. As you guys might know him, it is actually the Playmaker 88. A part of me is stuttering right now. I actually haven't stuttered all day, but I'm stuttering right now because I'm getting emotional a little bit. He sent me, like, you know, I'm sorry, give me a second, I'll show it to you. It's like, I'm sorry, but no one's ever done anything like this for me, and especially coming from a viewer, it's absolutely heartwarming and touching, because, you know, this thing's not cheap. Let me tell you that. This thing is not cheap. This is like a $200 sweater, and it means a lot to me, right? Because I love Formula One, and it means a lot to me. It touches my heart. We used to talk a lot, surprisingly enough. You wouldn't know that, but we used to text a lot back and forth. I wanted to meet him in Miami one day. Not gonna have the chance. I'll meet him up there in the sky one day. We'll drink, we'll have fun, we'll watch Formula One from the top, right? But yeah, looking back at some of our messages, my last message with him was actually about how Max Verstappen won the race. And it's sad that I replied him very rudely. I just said yup with the period because I hate Max Verstappen. And that was my last convo with him. It's just a sad day, man. Sad day. Homie passed away Tuesday. And rest in peace to my boy, Playmaker. We'll see him in the future. On that note, I'm sorry for crying. I didn't mean to. I didn't even think that would happen. I thought I would be strong enough. I'm gonna go watch some sports. Rest in peace, Playmaker. May your soul rest forever. You're an amazing person. Condolences to you and your family and your friends. I'll see you guys Monday. Have a great week. Have a great day tomorrow at the market. Good night. Love you all. Hug your loved ones. Peace.